Welcome and good afternoon, dear pupils of second year. Welcome to today's session of English. This is me, your teacher of English, Sir Ahmed. I hope you are all fine. As you know, dear pupils, we still always with the fourth sequence, which is me and my travels. In today's session, we are going to see practice number 2. We are going to see a very easy grammar point. In the previous lesson, we have talked about the future simple and how to plan and how to describe a future holiday. Today, we are going to see the means of transport. The means of transport are very important in traveling. When we travel, we need to take a means of transport. There are 4 types of means of transport. The first type, as you can see in the first picture, dear pupils, means of transport which travel by land. In the second photo, means of transport that move by rail, like the train. Another type of means of transport is the means of transport that move by sea or by water. And the fourth type of means of transport are those which travel by air, like the plane and the helicopter. So these are the 4 types of means of transport. Let's take some photos of some means of transport. Like you can see in this picture, this is a car. This is a car. It travels by land. The car travels by land. In the second photo, this is a taxi. This is a taxi. A taxi is yellow. So both car and taxi, they travel by land. In the third picture, as you can see, there is a bus. This is a bus. A bus moves by land. This is a bus. In the fourth picture, this is a boat. A boat. A boat is a very big means of transport. It goes by water. It goes by water. It travels through water. This is a bicycle. This is a bicycle. A bicycle travels by land. And this is a motorcycle. It is motorcycle. Motorcycle also travels by land. Bicycle and motorcycle. This is another means of transport. It is plane. This is plane. Plane can fly. It travels for very long distances. It is very fast. It travels by air. And this is an air balloon. This is an air balloon. It travels by air. It can fly. So plane and air balloon both can fly. And this is a train. This is a train. A train is a very long means of transport. It moves by rails. And this is a tram. A tram or a tramway. So both train and tramway travels by rails. This is a camel. This is a camel. A camel is an animal, but it is used as a means of transport. Also, this is a horse. A horse. Horse is also an animal, but it is used sometimes as a means of transport. So camel and horse are animals, but they are used sometimes as means of transport to move around and to travel. So these are some means of transport we can use when we travel from a place to another. Let's, dear pupils, look at these examples. Number 1, my father will go to Algiers by taxi. My father will go to Algiers by taxi. He takes the taxi to goes to Algiers. The second one, he will go to London by plane. He will go to London by plane. Plane is a means of transport. The third one, I will go to the beach on foot. I will go to the beach on foot. So these are 3 examples. Let's look, dear pupils, at the first example carefully. My father will go to Algiers by taxi. This is a taxi. It is a means of transport. My father will go to Algiers by taxi. Which means of transport will my father take? He will take the taxi. So taxi is a means of transport. So my father will take the taxi. Before taxi, what do I put? I put by. So I say my father will go to Algiers by taxi. By taxi. So before taxi, I put by. So by plus means of transport. By plus means of transport. The second example, he will go to London by plane. He will go to London by plane. This is plane. London is very far from Algeria. So he will take the plane to go to London. Plane is a means of transport. It travels by air. It can fly. So he will go to London by plane. So before plane, I put by. So by plus plane. Plane is a means of transport. So by plus means of transport. The third example, dear pupils. I will go to the beach on foot. This is foot. Foot is not a means of transport. It is a body part. I will go to the beach on foot. So, foot is not a means of transport. So, before foot, what do I put? I put on. I put on. So, I say, I will go to the beach on foot. So, on plus foot. We don't say by foot. This is a mistake. So, I say on foot. So, we have on and by. On and by are two prepositions. They are prepositions. On is a preposition. By is a preposition. They are used differently, as we have seen in the previous three examples. So the first preposition is on. So on is put before. Before what? Before foot. So I say, I go to the beach on foot. So on goes before foot. So on plus foot. The second preposition is by. By is unlike on. It is put before means of transport. By is put before means of transport. So on and by are both prepositions, but they are used differently. On before foot and by before means of transport. Simply, dear pupils, we can say on plus what comes after on? Is it a means of transport? No, it is foot. So on plus foot. On plus foot. I go to school on foot. I go to the supermarket on foot. So always before foot, I say on. The second preposition is by. So by plus. Is it foot? For sure, no. It is plus means of transport. So by plus means of transport. Like I say, I go to Oran by train. I go to Bashar by taxi. So always before the means of transport, I put by. Let's do some practice now, dear pupils. I classify this means of transport in the right column. We are going to classify these means of transport which are in the list in the right column. As you can see, we have 4 columns in this table. The first one, by land, by rail, by air, and by sea. The first means of transport is car, plane, boat, motorcycle, bus, train, a balloon, and taxi. So these 8 means of transport, we are going to classify them in the right table. How do they move? Is it by land, by rail, by air, or by sea or water? So this is again the list: car, plane, boat, motorcycle, bus, train, a balloon, and taxi. And this is the table with the 4 columns. By land, by rail, by air, and by sea or water. So car is the first means of transport. Does it move by air? No, it moves by land. So car travels by land. And the plane, is it by sea? Is it by rail? No, plane, it moves by air. It can fly in the air. So plane by air. Boat, is it by land? The boat is very big means of transport. It travels by sea or by water. So boat by sea or water. Motorcycle is like car. It moves by land. It goes by land. What about the bus? Is it by rail? Sure, no, it is by land, like the car and the motorcycle. The train, unlike, it moves by rail. The train moves or travels by rail. The air balloon is like the plane. It can fly. So it travels by air. So air balloon by air. The last means of transport is taxi. Taxi, is it by sea? Is it by rail? No, it travels by land. So the taxi moves by land. So these are the 8 means of transport. By land, we have car, motorcycle, bus, and taxi. By rail, we have the train. And by air, we have the plane and the air balloon. And by sea or water, we have the boat. So these are the 8 means of transport. Let's take another easy activity, dear pupils. I cross out the wrong preposition in brackets. We have sentences, and in these sentences we have 2 prepositions. We are going to cross out the wrong, the false one in each sentence. Let's take one. I go to school by foot. Which one is incorrect? We are going to cross. Number 2. She goes to work by on bus. She goes to work by on bus. The incorrect preposition we cross out. The third sentence, they will go by on foot. We have foot. So foot goes with by or on. The fourth sentence is, I will visit Oran by on a train. I will visit Oran by on train. So we have 4 sentences. In each sentence there is 2 prepositions. We are going to cross out the incorrect one. Let's take a look at 1. I go to school by foot. Maybe my school is near from home. So I go on or by foot. We have foot. Is foot a means of transport? Totally no, it is not. So by is false. By is wrong, so we cross it. So we say on. Number 2, she goes to work on bus. She goes to work on bus. Which means of transport we have in this sentence? It is bus. So bus is a means of transport. Before bus, do we put by? Yes, we put by. On is incorrect. The third one, they will go buy on foot. So we have buy on foot. So we have foot. Foot is not a means of transport. They will go. Is it by? By foot? No. By is wrong. So we cross it out. So I say they will go on foot. On is the correct choice. The fourth sentence, I will visit Oran on a train. Train is very fast. It travels by rails. So train is a means of transport. Before the means of transport, do I put on? No, on is wrong. So I say, I will visit Oran by train. By is the correct answer. So I go to school on foot. She goes to work by bus. They will go on foot. I will visit Oran by train. So always, dear pupils, on plus foot, by plus means of transport. Let's take a look at activity 3. I look at this chart and complete the following sentences. I say chart or I say table. This is the table, dear pupils. We have names like Anas, Ryan, and Asil, 2 boys and 1 girl. And we have 3 WH words. When, where, how. So when, it is to ask about the time. When, to ask about the time. Where, to ask about the place. Where will you go? And how, it is to ask about the means of transport you are going to take. By what means of transport you are going to travel. So we have 3 names: Anas, Ryan, and Asil. And from this information provided in the chart, we are going to complete 3 sentences. Let's take a look at the first example. The example of Anas. Anas will go to. We have when, where, and how. So when will Anas go on a trip? It is tomorrow. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is an expression of the future. Tomorrow, Anas will go to. Which place will he visit or go to? He will go to the beach to swim. Anas will go to the beach. But how? Which means of transport is going to take? No, he is going foot. Tomorrow, Anas will go to the beach foot. But this sentence, dear pupils, is incomplete. What do we need in this sentence? We need the preposition on. So tomorrow, Anas will go to the beach on foot. So we put the preposition on. Why? Very good, because foot. So always before foot, I put on. So I say tomorrow Anas will go to the beach on foot. Let's look at the example of Ryan. So Ryan will go to, and we have the information in the chart. Next December, Bashar and car. Car is a means of transport. So when he will go, or when will he go? He will go next December. Next December. Next December, Ryan will go to where? What? Which city will he visit? He will visit the beautiful city Bashar in the south of Algeria. And he is going to take the car. So next December, Ryan will go to Bashar car. Is this sentence correct? No. We need something very important. We need by. Next December, Ryan will go to Bashar by car. We put by. Why? Because car. Car is a means of transport. So before car, I must put by. Because car is a means of transport. So I say next December, Ryan will go to Bashar by car. Let's see the example of the girl Asil. Asil is also going on a holiday. She is going abroad. So when will Asil go on a trip? The time. When will Asil go on a trip? It is next August. Next August, it means in the summer. Next August, it refers to the future. Next August, Asil will go to. Which city will she visit? She will visit Paris, the capital of France. But how? She is going to take the plane. So next August, Asil will go to Paris plane. Still, we need by. So we put the preposition by because plane is a means of transport. So I say next August, Asil will go to Paris by plane. So always before plane or any means of transport, I put the preposition by. So today, dear pupils, we have seen the 4 types of means of transport. The first one, by land. Number 2, by rail. Third one, by sea or water. And the fourth one, means of transport which move or travels by air. So these are the 4 types of means of transport: by land, by rail, by sea or water, and by air. The means of transport are very useful when we travel from a place to another. Also, we have seen the 2 prepositions on and by. On is a preposition and by is also a preposition. On is put before foot. So on plus foot. I go to school on foot. But by is put before means of transport. I can say I go to London by plane. I go to Paris by plane. I visit Oran by train. So this was our lesson for today, and that was me, your teacher of English, Sir Ahmed. I hope the lesson of today was very easy and very clear for you, dear pupils. I may say goodbye for you and see you in the coming sessions.
شكرا على المشاهدة. لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة، الضغط على الجرس، الإعجاب بالفيديو.